One. All right, cool. So live stream's up. We're working on Unfound, the dungeon crawler game that went from being top down to first person. Remember that last time? We decided it was going to be first person. Correct? You guys remember that? Yeah? Okay, cool. I'm getting thumbs up. Awesome. And guys, feel free to unmute your microphone and talk anytime if you want. That's fine with me. As well as using the chat. So let's see. I've got my notes from last time. Dungeon crawler where the player must avoid enemies, sneak past them, sneak through windows, collect collectibles like keys, set traps, things like that. We have all these great assets in here, so we could start making like a really cool cave system and kind of like build out the map today. That's one option. We already set up the character and the camera. That's really good. So take that out of the notes. View tool that allows first person and top down views. I don't know if we're still doing that, guys. Are we still doing that? Are we doing? Are we doing it as first person the whole time, or are we having like multiple views? Refresh my memory on that. Multiple views. Okay, like for certain puzzles and stuff. Okay, okay. Yeah, we could do something cool like that. I'll put that in the notes. What we'll do is make a puzzle blueprint that uses set view target with blend. And that's how you make a camera. I'm streaming on YouTube, so you go to YouTube and type in Dotware Games. And then sometimes it helps you type in Dotware Games Live. It's spelled D-O-T-W-A-R-E, by the way. D-O-T-W-A-R-E. And then you put the word live or something after it, and usually YouTube will show you, okay, this is the video that's live, because it's live right now. And if somebody finds it, actually just drop the link in the chat, and everybody can access it. Alrighty. So last time we did a little bit of development, just a refresher. We did this custom event. I made this event called Determine What Player is Looking At. Oh, cool, Frederick. Will you link it then? Now, if we use this line trace channel, we can draw an invisible line from a start location to an end location. And that's really useful because this allows us to know what the player is looking at all times. Okay, if you remember, if I change this so that the line is no longer visible, you'll see, whoa, there's a line there, a red kind of dot. And on the left side, I'm actually printing, says linear stair mesh. I'm printing out the thing I'm looking at. That's going to be super useful for selecting things, activating items, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really glad we did that. And let's actually make a custom event called Activate right now that allows you to, that causes something to happen when the player clicks the mouse button, okay? And then I just realized here we also added a sprint button last time, okay? So if I hit play and I hold the shift key, all right, we get to sprint, and I let go, we go back to normal speeds. I'm hearing two Mr. Torres at the same time, right? The best of both worlds. Okay, so let's do that activate button. So custom event. By the way, could somebody find me a crosshair? I want someone, any of you, to go to a website called flaticon.com, and they have the best icons, and I want a good crosshair for this game. Make sure it's 32 pixels by 32 pixels. And Flat Icon, the website, lets you choose the size, okay? It has to be a PNG, okay? I need a crosshair from flaticon.com that's 32 pixels wide, PNG. Okay, see if you can give me that. I'll put that as the crosshair so our player knows what they're looking at any given point. All right, while you do that, I'm going to do custom event, activate, just name it activate. And this is going to trigger whenever the left mouse button is pressed. Now maybe we're not hovering over anything, so activate won't do anything when it's called. We'll build in some code here that'll cause something to happen, so to speak, okay? Cool. And if somebody has a live stream, will you drop the link in so that other people can have access to it as well? Okay, cool. I'm going to stop printing that string over there. We know that that part is working. Great, great. And I guess we have two options here. I'm going to throw this as a poll. Thanks. Thank you, Frederick. Or Lloyd, thank you. So here's the question of today's development. And I'm fine with either one. And either one, has its benefits. Should we focus, the next 20 minutes developing out the level, the environment, the rocky cave environment that we kind of talked about, and that we can go through and kind of decide, okay, what does this environment look like? That's option one. Option two is, should we develop out the systems of our sneak and maybe activating items, and maybe I'll try and begin the AI, the enemy kind of things, and maybe pawn sensing around and stuff. So that would be like development of the systems and the features of how the game works. Okay, that's option two. All right, so I'm going to put that in a poll. What should we focus on? How about mechanics? Yeah, that's what I mean. Mechanics is like the second option too. It's kind of built in, right? So we could create the cave environment. And I'm putting it as cave environment. It's still a cave environment, right? That's what we want to do. Create the cave environment / level design, or start developing the systems mechanics, how the game works. All right, guys, the poll is now live, and you can see everyone else's results. Go ahead and vote. Do the winner go the spoils? As far as environment's concerned, so we have a, while you vote, I have a, sorry, my mic's in the way. I have a asset pack called Soul Cave that comes from Epic, and it's got really, really great models and static meshes and things for just this kind of thing. Really cool stuff. All right, let's check on that poll. All right, so there's still more people who can vote. Half of you have voted, half of you have not. I want everybody to vote on this. So everybody click on your polls. So let me show you an example of a finished map. So this is a map that comes from Epic using all of these assets. And this is a mobile map, so this is going to be more performant. Okay, drop the link, Adolfo. Look at that crosshair. Okay, now we're at 16 votes. That's good. Okay. All right, this one's a premium one. So can you give me one, Adolfo, that, or anybody that isn't premium, that's a free download? Because I don't want to pay $8.25 a month for a crosshair. No, thank you. All right, with 16 votes and 11, everybody's saying just about, well, the winner is not the level design, but in fact developing the systems, how the game works. So we'll start with that. Let's just let this map load. This is good that we're letting it load because it's going to compile all the shaders and stuff, which is something you have to do one time only. Whenever all of your, whenever you have like a new asset pack, new models, new materials, that kind of stuff. And we'll just get this over with. Once it loads the level, though, we'll jump back into this level that we're already on. Okay, cool. And so you can see, oh, you see even with it not having compiled what they've got here. Man, that looks good. You know what we might do? Maybe we should take this map and develop our systems on this map, because that way we're developing our game systems within the context of something that feels like, you know, the final kind of hopeful result kind of thing. And that sometimes can help. But yeah, look how amazing a finished map can actually look. And like I said, this stuff here looks all like squares and stuff because it's still compiling. That's going to look like water in a second. But this is a map, you know, from Epic. We come through here, those predefined maps. These ones that come in through here, these are going to be these things called the God rays. It's like rays of light, and they're using a material for that. But this will be the map that we're going to, let's hang out on this map and develop some of our features on here. I think this would be a good testing ground, okay? And in fact, what we can do is make this map the map that we always start on when we open the project. So let's do that. We can do that like this. We'll go to project settings. Oh, I see. Okay, Michael, I'll check that out in a second. Let's set this to the map here. All right, it's going to set our map. So we'll always load in on this map. Like I said, it's got 2,000 shaders to compile. All right, thanks for letting me know, Elijah. Okay, so we got 2 icons for potential crosshairs. All right, we got this one. I like it. PNG. It'll let me download 32. Perfect. Will let me download yeah, PNG. Perfect. Okay, that's one option. And then the other option is, I'm sorry, I'm in the snipers, right? Is this. Oh, interesting. Okay, we have 2 really different styles of crosshairs here. Huh. I can tell you which one I like better, but I'd rather let you guys decide. So we've got this rounder one here, and we've got the traditional crosshair here. Which one would you prefer for our game? It's totally up to you guys. Let's do this as a vote. Okay, so we're going to say round crosshair or traditional crosshair. All right, the poll is now live. You can see everyone's results. Vote, and I will use the crosshair that you decide. While you do that voting, oh, actually, I'll show it to you one more time. So there's our option number 2, and this is option number 1. 1 and 2. Okay, 1, 2. Got a round crosshair, and then we have this traditional crosshair. So while those votes come in, let's go back to our blueprints and stuff. So we got our third-person character here. I want to kind of make, like the beginnings of an enemy. You know, somebody that can sense what you look like, that sort of thing. You know, who can spot you if they see you, kind of thing. So let's do this. I'm going to duplicate the third-person character. We're going to name this BP Enemy, and let's start fleshing out some systems. Okay. Again, today I don't really care how he looks. I am going to enable the visibility again on his mesh here so we can see him. I'm going to delete his camera since he doesn't need a camera. And let's just change his material so that we kind of can identify, okay, he's a different guy, he's bad, he's a bad guy, whatever. Just give him a rock material, you know, maybe he's an old stone creature or something. I don't know. You know, like I said, we'll develop these themes out later. Okay, let's check the votes. All right, 13 votes have come in, and it looks like some people wanted the round crosshair. You guys want the traditional crosshair. Traditional crosshair wins. Let's do the traditional one then. Cool. And register, download, free download. This is a great website for UI, by the way. Really, really great website for UI. I'm downloading this. Okay, that has been downloaded. Now we just want to import that into Unreal Engine. Let's do it like this. I don't have a special folder for UI or anything right now, but that's fine. So let's just go to import into game, downloads, and there's my crosshair file. Open it up. Cool. Double click on it, check, make sure it looks good, and that's our crosshair. Okay, I downloaded the 32 pixel one, which is why it starts to look blurry when you zoom in, but it won't when it's on screen because it's just a little crosshair. Oh, you know what? Here's something I don't really like about this crosshair, but we're going to fix it. I don't like that it's a black color. The reason is I can't tint it in my widget if it's black. So remember we have this player HUD here. This is what's on your player screen when you hit play, okay? At least it should be. Let's just make sure we're adding that to the screen. Did we ever add that? No, we didn't. Okay. All right, so what you got to do. To make the widget, the crosshair show up on screen, we have to make this thing called a widget, right? This UI here show up on our player. We do it like this. Right click, begin play, which means the beginning of the game. We're going to do create widget. We select the widget that we want to create, which in this case is player HUD, the one we made last class. And then we add to viewport. Add to viewport. Okay, that's going to make the widget show up. And with this widget, we can put health. We could put, I think we talked possibly of having like a sanity meter or like a sneakiness meter. I really like the Elder Scrolls series where they have a crosshair that's like an eyeball when you're sneaking, and the eye is closed when you're undetected, and it starts to open up if people can hear you, and it goes full open when they've detected you. So I really like that. Not a bad idea. So let's set this to our crosshair texture, and bam, now it's our crosshair texture. Now I don't know if that is too big or too small, so let's hit play and see how we feel about it. Again, the level doesn't look great because it's still compiling everything, so it looks darker, not everything's in. But once it is compiled, it's going to look really nice. Oh, there's audio too. All right, so I don't have crosshair because I believe I'm playing their character. They have a built character for this, so let's just drag our character we have, our third-person character, he's called still. We'll drag that into our environment here. And we'll set his auto-possess property to player 0, which means, hey, make sure that the player is this guy. All right, now I hit play. All right, yeah, there's our line trace, and I can see our crosshair there. See how dark it is? It looks good, though. It's a good crosshair. I'm glad we picked it. But what I was saying before, let me turn off that. Well, I'll leave the line trace on for a second. The reason I don't like it being black is, let's say I want to, I don't know, set the crosshair to be green when you hover over something because, hey, that indicates to the player, hey, you can activate this thing. Well, I can go here and tint it, but here's the thing. If something's already black, you can't tint it any other color. So here's my secret for solving this. I used to, by the way, I used to bring these into Photoshop and change it. Now, I didn't know, but now I know. You can do this in Unreal. Just go to the texture, and where it says vibrance, saturation, all these adjustments here, what I want to do is, yeah, I think it's that. Set brightness curve to -1. Now it's white. You might be like, well, I don't want a white crosshair. It doesn't matter because now you actually have any crosshair color that you want because we can tint white any color we want, including black. Bam, we can go back to the black crosshair if we want. So, but what's nice is now in our widget, we can control the color of our crosshair if we want. Sorry, okay, I haven't been monitoring the chat very much. Mister, if that didn't work, I had this. Okay, I think this is going to work, though. I think this is fine. No, I think that's a good one maybe in the future, but I like what we have. So anyway, we've got this crosshair. I'm going to make it like maybe a white for now, like a light white, like a gray, just because in a dark cave environment, you're going to lose your crosshair if it's not contrasting with the environment. Okay, you got to, okay, yeah, much better, much simpler. I'm also noticing that my crosshair either is not in the right position or my line trace is not in the right position. So let's make sure this is actually basically in the center. And it basically really is in the center, even if we were to tweak it ever so slightly. No, that's in the center. So that just means that we might want to tweak our crosshair start location just a tad. We just want to bring it down. Would that be okay? think that could be good. I didn't like the way that our, well, let me test that. The way our camera was rotating, it seemed a little, now it won't rotate at all. Okay, don't do that. Sometimes we deal with these camera booms. It pivots too much. That's something I can mess around with another time. That's okay. So we were doing stuff on the enemy a second ago, right? And things are still compiling. Still got 1,000 shaders left. 1,000 materials left. Let's close out that. Let's do some enemy related stuff. So I want to show you something cool that I don't have much experience in, actually, because I've done my AI and NPCs before in different ways, different systems. But Unreal has something called pawn sensing, which is kind of a built-in sight system and hearing system for AI, where the sight system is basically a cone that emanates from the character's head, wherever their vision is, and kind of follows where they're looking at. And you can trigger events if anything enters into that cone that you're looking for, like the player, okay? So let's try using Unreal's built-in pawn sensing system. But like I said, I've never really used it too much. I've used it a little bit and helped people use it before. But anyway, we add component, and we type in pawn, and you'll see the pawn sensing. And then you have things like pawn noise emitter, okay? So that would be the kind of thing like, oh, you trigger a trap, you spawn one of these noise emitters, you turn it on, and then anything with pawn sensing on it can identify, hey, a noise happened at this location, and then your code can decide whatever it wants to do. Pawn sensing. So, okay, so pawn sensing, we have these settings over here. Hearing threshold, hearing sight radius, sensing threshold, only sense players, okay. See pawns, hear noises. If true, we will perform audibility tests. It will be notified when a pawn makes a noise. It can be heard. Default true. Important note, if we can see pawns, pawn is visible, noise notifications are not triggered. Okay. Peripheral vision. All right. Usually I can see like the cone of what he's seeing out. At least I have in the past. So how do I actually visualize that? I want to see, how far he's seeing out. Right now I don't see that. How do I do that? Let's see. Enable sensing updates. Only see players. If I mess around with this stuff. We could just make an assumption. So anyway, we get these events called on see pawn. A pawn is just another entity that can be controlled in the world, by the way. So a character is a pawn. So if it sees a pawn or on hear noise, all this kind of stuff, we can do events for this. So let's do the on see pawn event. On see pawn, we want to do something. Okay, so first right here, it's what is the pawn that you're seeing. Let's cast, or that's in other words, let's check and make sure that that pawn that we saw is our third person character. Because who knows, maybe later we'll have other pawns in there, like a bear in the cave, or a spider in the cave, different kinds of things. And we don't want the enemies just to activate when they see those things, just when they see our player, maybe, right? So let's cast to third person character. And let's do this. If you see the third person character, great node. I love using this. AI move to. AI move to will move an NPC or a PC, whatever. It will move a pawn from one place to another. Okay, so it's a move function. For AI move to, it's asking, hey, who's moving, first of all? Well, the blueprint we're coding things on is the one that's moving, right? So this blueprint itself is the one that's moving. So just plug in self into pawn. Okay. And then where is the pawn going? You have this destination. What are the coordinates? Where should this enemy be traveling to? Well, we're going to ignore that. Instead, plug in something to target actor. Because we don't have a specific set of coordinates. We just want it to go wherever the player is. Well, that's what target actor is for. So target actor is, hey, what actor or thing in the world should you be going to? In this case, we want it to be the player character, don't we? And since we just casted the third person character, watch how cool this is. I can just drag this wire as third person character right into target actor. Okay, and then it's going to go to him. So let's see if we can get this to work. All right, we'll see. Before any of that will work, I have to have what's called a nav mesh in the world. And since there isn't one in there by default, whenever you're making NPCs move, they need this thing called a nav mesh. The nav mesh is basically a big invisible box that looks for all the obstacles, and then it figures out where the obstacles are, where you can walk and where you can't. And that way the NPCs, when they're using these things like AI move to, they can always refer back to the nav mesh and be like, oh, you can't walk there. That's impossible. It's intraversable. You can preview that by pressing the P key on your keyboard. You see everywhere that's green, that is a traversable area. Anything that isn't green, like right here, okay, that's untraversable. So it's kind of like, you can think of it as like the spatial brain of your NPCs. So whenever you want NPCs to be able to move through the world, you need a nav mesh. Okay, so you want to make this kind of as big as the world. The bigger it is, the more it covers, the more expensive things will be. All right, so our player is here. That's our player. Let's put our NPC over here where it's all sunny. Actually, my nav mesh doesn't stretch out big enough. Let's fix that. Zoom out a little bit. The whole other end of the cave system over here, by the way. See this? Yeah, it's really great. I mean, it's like amazing. So let's grow it even farther. All right, now we've got a nice big nav mesh. I think should cover most of the area. Let's bring this back over here. Okay, so we get this nav mesh. I'm gonna press P to turn that off again. Now let's bring our enemy guy out into the world. And we're gonna put him right here, let's say. And he's facing this way. So he shouldn't be, oh, and you can actually see now, you can see his sight radius. So see the blue lines, the blue sphere? That's his hearing radius. And this green thing is where he can see. So with his back turned to you, he should not be able to see you. Okay, so let's do it like that. And let's see if we get close to him and he either hears us. I don't know if hearing can be triggered yet. Well, he won't because we didn't even put code into it. Or if he sees it, okay, then he should move towards us. Let's try it out. I don't know if it'll work. We'll see. Hitting play. Let's make this full screen. All right, I'm going to move in this general direction. I see the enemy over there. He doesn't see me. I get close to him. He should move towards us, but we don't know. Let's see. And does he see me? Oh, he's coming towards me. Awesome. Okay, so it worked. This is really cool. It worked. I'm happy about that. I like that a lot. So that's good. So now we know we've made a system for that. Now what's cool about blueprints, you don't just make one blueprint once. Blueprints are systems, okay? So I can drag that same blueprint BP enemy out over here. Okay, now I've got another guy that could potentially see me. I can make a copy of him and bring him over here. The performance of this map, by the way, hopefully it'll get better when the materials are done compiling. I'll put this guy over here. Now I've got multiple enemies. I only need to code it once. And so they don't see me yet. They can't hear me because we haven't set that up yet, but they can definitely see me if I get close to them. And if, oh, he's coming after me. He saw me. He saw me. They're all really fast. And now that guy saw me. And now, yeah. Okay, so we've got some work today, I'd say. We're starting out on our system. So I'm going to end it